Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Tuesdays with Terry. My name's Terry, and I'm excited that you're here. Hey, can you do me a favor? If you don't ask, you don't get, right? All I'm asking you is, would you take, if you've been listening to me for this your first time or second time or third time or almost 100th time, right? Because I'm coming up on my 100th episode. But man, would you do me a favor? And if I was in the room with you right now, or I was in the car with you right now, and you had a family member, or you had a friend sitting in the car, or they walked into the room, would you be so kind as to introduce me if I was there live with you? And the answer to that is probably yes, you would. Well, I'd like you to introduce me in another way. I'd like you to take the little tagline here, Tuesday with Terry. Take the little TuesdayWithTerry.com. You can find me on Spotify, on Anchor, on Apple. You can find my podcast there, and share me with a friend of yours, someone that you think could use an uplift, someone who you think could use some encouragement, someone that you could use some maybe some counsel or advice on leadership or business. I'm your guy, right? But anyway, share that today. I'm asking you, as your friend, I'm asking you if you would be so kind as to share my podcast with someone. As soon as it's over today, please forward that. Text it in a text message to someone that you want to share it with. Any case, what I'd like to talk with you about today is I was going to talk about this a while ago, but I got distracted, and I was going to tell you 10 Terry-isms, and so now I'm really going to tell you 10 Terry-isms. But number one is, if you want to change some things in your life, you got to change some things in your life. You've heard me say that many, many times, but I would encourage you, as you think about change, and things change all the time. I just, in my business, in my work, we have some people leaving, we have some people coming. And we have our businesses like a family. And the good thing about a family is, you're a family and you feel like family. The bad thing about a family is sometimes you get in a little fist fight with your brother and you get a little bloody nose, and the dad says you got to go to your rooms and you got to calm down a little bit. And then you come down to the kitchen table, talk it out, and we're back onto it. And that's family too, right? But people are always coming, people are always going, things are always changing. And I would encourage you to look at change and embrace the change. Embrace it, accept it, be positive about it. Many times we're negative about change because we don't know what's about to happen, or we don't know how things are going to turn out. But I want you to have possibility thinking, right? We've heard that before, is what it would be like if it did turn out really well. And what are you telling yourself? What's the story you're telling yourself? Tell yourself a positive story, but remember, things are changing. And if nothing's changing, nothing's changing. Think about the things in your life you need to change and make some of those changes. Number two is perfect the process, right? If you think about a process, if it's the process of a goal that you've got, if you think it's about the process of getting in shape, if you think about it, it's the process of accomplishing something at work or a task at work. In order to perfect the process, the first thing you have to do is have a process. And what is a process? A process is, what's the first thing that has to happen? What's the second thing that has to happen? What's the third thing that has to happen? Or the fourth or the fifth or sixth? It could be 25 things that have to happen in this process. How do you perfect the process? You've got to find ways to keep it simple, right? Make it as simple as possible. I call it dummy it down to third grade level. When you can make your processes so simple that a third grader can do it, you've got to figure it out. But perfect the process. Number three is, you've got to execute. You got to get things done. You ever find a guy that's running around, or a girl that's running around like crazy with the chicken with the head cuts off? And, they said, well, I'm working on this and I'm working on that and I'm working on that. Oh my gosh, I'm just so busy. I've never been so overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do, but and you grab a hold of him by the shirt collar and you say, no, hold on, hold the phone, John. Sit down for a second now. What exactly have you gotten done today? And they said, well, I'm working on this, and I got this project I've got going on, and I got all these papers on my desk, which I do, actually, by the way. I got all the papers on my desk. But all you simply have to do is slow that person down and say, don't do, get done. Let's focus on results and what's the first thing or the second thing that we have to do today to chip away at the process, to chip away at getting something done. You don't get paid for good intentions, you get paid for results. And you've got to execute and get things done. Number 4 is the heavyweight champion of the world in business is the customer. And I would remind you to always say to yourself or think to yourself or talk to your teams about taking a sincere interest in your customers. Because your customers come into your place of business, they go to your place of business if it's online, and the things that people ask themselves, they never say these out loud, but they'll say them to themselves. Number one, does anybody know I'm here? Number two, does anybody care about me? Does anybody know my name? Right? Can I get results here? Can I get what I paid for? Is what I paid for going to provide the results that I was looking for? Can I really get results here through this product, through this service? Remember, the customer is the heavyweight champion of the world and of your business. Talk to your customers, listen to your customers, solicit their feedback. Get belly to belly, nose to nose, and toes to toes with your customer. Use net promoter scores. There's a variety of tools out there that can help you with that. But keep your customers at the top of your business. Number 5, variety is the spice of life, right? Remember that. Do something a little bit different. Turn it into a game. If you have mundane tasks at work, try to figure out how to turn it into a game. If you've got a team of people, figure out how to gamify something. Take them out. Instead of having the meeting in the boardroom, go outside and for a walk for the meeting. Instead of having a board meeting, go out to a mini putt-putt and play putt-putt and sit down at the putt-putt course and have a conversation. If you need to take somebody out to lunch, take the group out to lunch. Take them out for happy hour. Every hour is happy hour. Remember that? I said, if all the drinks are free when you're hanging with me, but every hour is happy hour here. What I'm suggesting is, man, variety is the spice of life. It is true in your relationships. It is true in your professional relationships. If you are a leader, if you are a trainer, it is true in your leadership style, and it is true in your training and the way you approach training people. Try different modes of training, right? I could spend a whole talk on that. But remember, variety is the spice of life. Never forget that. Number 6, invest in people. I think that's really a big one. I took my group of people down to Walt Disney World a year and a half ago, and we spent a couple days going through the Disney approach to customer service. And Walt Disney said it best: of all the things I've ever done, the most vital is coordinating the talents of those who work for us and pointing them towards a certain goal. Invest in the relationship, right? I talk a lot about the tree of trust. The tree of trust is an inner circle. It's a group of people that believe, that have ideas and goals, and feel free to be transparent with each other and can say when it's going well, can say when it's not going well without people getting nervous or afraid of their positions, right? And think about that in terms of your own relationships and own work relationships. But most importantly, are you investing in people? Are you investing in your peers? Are you investing in your subordinates? Are you training, teaching, and bringing people along with you, right? Because we've heard this before as well. When you go alone, you go fast. But when you go together or you go with the team, you go far. All of you, I'm sure, want to go far, so make sure you're doing it with people and investing in people. Number 7 is to think bigger. I keep talking about this. A few weeks ago, I had a podcast about thinking big and how to 10x your life and how to 10x your work and how to 10x your career and how to 10x your wealth and a lot of those pieces. But I'm just telling you, you guys have to think bigger. You've got to have bigger goals. When the payoff is bigger, you get more committed, right? A lot of times, your goals are too small, and the reason we set small goals is because we want to make sure that we can accomplish. We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. All I'm suggesting is put yourself out there a little bit. Have a stretch goal. Get out there, man. Think a little bit bigger, right? It's bigger. If you think that something is too big, think bigger. 5 times it, 2 times it, 3 times it, 10 times it, and really go for the big things to figure out how to really make an impact, right? But you got to think bigger. If you haven't read the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, please pick it up. It's a great read. Number 8, remember when all else fails, right? F you. I've talked about that. I had a whole podcast about it, but follow up, follow up, follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Whether it's with a job application, whether it's with getting a sale, whether it's in a relationship and you're trying to date that girl or date that guy. Follow up, man. You got to have some follow-up techniques. You need to be better at following up. Number 9 is you got to put in the effort. I say this all the time. Don't let anybody do your push-ups for you. And if you're not going to do your own push-ups, I got to get excited. I'm excited, man. I've worked out 7 of the last 10 days personally. I'm pretty excited about that because I got back into Orange Theory Fitness 10 days ago, and I took the workout class, but I've done 7 workouts in the last 10 days. I have had a couple days off in between that, but I'm feeling really positive. I feel good about myself. I'm not in the shape that I want to be in, but I tell you, I'm on the right path. And there's nothing better than knowing that you're on the right path, but you got to put in the effort, man. You got to do your own push-ups. Nobody can do your push-ups for you. And don't be disappointed with the results you didn't get because of the effort that you didn't invest. Man, you got to invest in the effort. You got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in the project. You got to put time in order to get something out, right? You've heard that story of the fire. You can't stand at the fire of life and say, come on, fire, now give me some heat, and then I'll put some wood in you. You've got to put some wood in before you get some heat. Turn up the heat and put in the effort. And last one is get a game plan. Do you have a plan for your life? Do you know where you want to be in 5 years? Do you know where you want to be in a year? You know where you want to be in 3 years? Do you know what your finances, you want your finances to look like? Do you know what you want your relationships to look like? Do you know what you want your career to look like? Do you know what you want your family and friends, your kids to look like? What's your game plan that you got for your life, man? Do you really have a plan, or is every day just a day and it comes and goes and it's the same as yesterday and that was the same as last week and nothing gets better, nothing gets worse, but you're on what I call cruise control through life? Get off that cruise control. Hit the brakes, hit the gas, but darn it, do something, right? Get a game plan. And so I think those are 10 quick things. Number 1 is change. Number 2 is perfect the process. Number 3 is get things done. Got to be good at execution. Number 4 is remember the customer is the heavyweight champ of the world. Number 5, variety is the spice of life. Number 6, invest in people and those relationships. Number 7, you got to think bigger, man. And number 8, when all else fails, follow up, follow up, follow up. Number 9, you got to put in the effort. Don't let anybody do the work for you. And finally, make sure you got a game plan. Live your life by design, not by chance. My name's Terry. I'm your friend.